On audit, again, just for my colleagues' agenda management, we will adjourn at 3:40, if not before, to give time to set up for our final item of the day.
Thank you, Chairman Day. Will the Committee on Audit please come to order? Today we have one request for public comment. The speaker has 3 minutes to address our board. Mr. Edgman Gobian, please take the microphone for 3 minutes.
Hello. I'm sorry for talking about, spending so much time on talking to you guys about a specific campus, but I just want to put everything in perspective. When I'm telling you there's a management problem, there's a audit process it's not done properly. It can be done on other campuses, and the trustees are relying on this kind of information to make decisions. So I'm hoping you can realize some of these, hoping you can realize how bad these are. So I'm just going to go over some of them quickly. There are a lot of details associated with this. I hope you will contact me this time and we can go over them in more detail. So I'm going to start with the worst one, which was the violation of Executive Order 369, which President Covino seized the ASI assets twice in a year, and it was kind of brushed off / covered up by Chancellor White and Dr. Blanchard. And then the ASI operating agreement was expired for half of the year. And then it was secretly signed by ASI Executive Director, President Covino, and Chancellor White. And the only reason we found out about that, it was after the fact that was posted on the CSU website. Moving on to selectively disqualifying ASI board members. After each quarter, some students, they cannot attain their GPA requirement, so some of them become disqualified. But in this instance, some of them were selectively disqualified based on which agenda they were for or against. And then at a strategic meeting that was, it was a forum to address all of the problems of the campus, staff, student representative, and faculty brought up the retaliation and intimidation problem on campus, and the conversation was shut down by the provost at that time. And then moving on to the executive director at the ASI, he changed the minutes of the board of directors decision to and that it was associated with the reclassification of one of our employees. The ASI executive director violated budget planning processes, and if you look at the past budgets, they are littered with errors, calculation errors. He received the raise without the approval process. Also, he was withholding information from students and making decisions on behalf of the board. The USU executive director was hired and selected by President Covino in violations of the Articles of Incorporation and the bylaws of the USU. And there are many more. So I would really like to talk to you about this. I wish you can see that you have an audit problem and you need to have more people who can hold campuses accountable. We rely on these audits to make sure everything is done properly. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. It is now time for the committee to consider today's consent agenda, which are the minutes of the last meeting of July 24th. Is there any objection to the approval of the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, the minutes are approved. The committee has one item for today's discussion agenda. Item 2 is an information item, which is a status report on current and follow-up internal audit assignments. The item will be presented by Mr. Larry Mandel, Vice Chancellor and Chief Audit Officer. Larry, please begin.
Thank you, Chair Morales. Item 2 in your agenda includes both a status on the 2018 audit plan and follow-up on past assignments. In your packet is an updated attachment A for the status report that shows progress since the agenda mailout. Attachment A indicates progress today on the 2018 audit plan, which was approved at the January 2018 board meeting. It also indicates progress for any 2017 audits that have pending follow-up. Those numbers and letters in green reflect the updates from the mailout. Audit assignments for 2022 diverse topics are currently in process or complete. Some of the topics in the general campus audit category include auxiliary organization reviews, accounts receivable, cashiering, centers and institutes, emergency management, police services, student disability support, and student health services. In our special programs area, we are in the process of conducting a variety of audits in the areas of construction, information technology, and sponsored programs. Information technology topics include cloud computing, decentralized computing, information security, and information technology disaster recovery. Attachment A also indicates progress made toward completion of recommendations. The campuses and the Chancellor's Office continue to do a good job completing recommendations on a timely basis. We continue to provide consultative reviews through our advisory services function, whereby we partner with management to identify solutions for business issues, offer opportunities to improve efficiency and effectiveness in operating areas, and assist with special requests. Additionally, our continuous audit initiative proceeds. Continuous auditing uses data analytic tools and techniques to analyze large volumes of data, look for anomalies and trends, and complement the existing risk assessment process. Reviews are ongoing. We also continue to perform investigations as needed. In addition to conducting investigations, our investigations unit tracks external audits being conducted by state and federal agencies. Our services include providing advice and assistance to Chancellor's Office and campus personnel during the audit process, drafting or reviewing audit responses, and coordinating audit follow-up and the implementation of audit recommendations. On August 8th, the Joint Legislative Audit Committee approved an audit to be conducted by the California State Auditor entitled California State University Parking Program and Accounts Outside the State Treasury. The purpose of the audit is to provide independently developed and verified information related to the parking program at the California State University, as well as accounts the CSU holds that are outside of the state's centralized treasury system. Included in the review are the Chancellor's Office and 4 campuses: Channel Islands, Fullerton, Sacramento, and San Diego. If you have any questions on the status report, we'll take them at this time.
Any questions for Larry? Okay, I don't hear any. Larry, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and this is in reference to your report, written report, page 1, last paragraph, first sentence, and it refers to the initial audit plan, indicated the reviews of the information security, et cetera, and then it talks about that you perform campus audits where there's a greater degree of risk that was perceived. So maybe you can tell us about how you arrive at these audit plans, and then what is this? How is this perception? Who gathers this perception? How is it that you?
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to Janice Mirza, who's our Assistant Vice Chancellor, and she can give you a better view of how we do this.
Okay, thank you. Prior to the division's reorganization in 2017, we conducted a system-wide risk assessment to select approximately 6 to 8 audit topics, including information technology topics, in addition to the division's ongoing auxiliary organization and construction audits. Each audit topic at that time was performed at approximately 6 campuses. With the new organizational structure implemented in January of 2017, the division now performs individual campus risk assessments. Using management interviews, surveys, audit history, and other factors, we use these to score an audit universe of topics in order to determine the topics of highest risk to each campus. A custom tailored audit program is then developed for each campus, which includes the various general and IT audit topics identified through the risk assessment process. Topics and projects in the areas of sponsored programs and construction are selected through audit history, dollar value, type, and management input. In addition, periodically, other audit topics may also be selected and performed of high-profile areas in order to assure the board that appropriate policies and procedures are in place to mitigate risk to the system. For example, we plan to review health and safety at all 23 campuses due to the recent California State Auditor report. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. That's really good. Any other questions? Being none, Mr. Chair, this concludes the business of the committee.
Thank you, Chair Morales. And with that, we will